Now, let me introduce our speaker to all. Today's speaker is going to talk on a very relevant topic which is ignored by all of us, particularly when our lifestyle is such which keep us under stress and work only adds to it. It becomes significantly important not to ignore mental health. On this note, I welcome Dr. Preeti Bala Mishra, Assistant Professor, Amity University, Lucknow. Her sub-theme for this session is Nurturing Mental Health of Young Adults and Law Professionals in Higher Education. Ma'am is having more than 10 years of teaching experience. She has completed her MA and PhD from University of Lucknow. She has been awarded with the Best Thesis Award from the Honorable Governor of Uttar Pradesh and with the Professor Kali Prasad Memorial Research Prize Award from University of Lucknow. She is a mental health psychosocial expert and she has been awarded with the Letter of Appreciation for Effective Counseling and Telecounseling to Women and Children from the Department of Women and Child Development and from the District Magistrate Lucknow. Welcome, ma'am. Over to you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I hope I am clearly audible and visible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
I'm not visible, ma'am.
No, ma'am, you are not visible, you are only audible.
Please give me 2 minutes. Allow me to rejoin. I think there is some technical glitch.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have rejoined. I hope I'm clearly audible and visible.
Ma'am, you are still not visible.
Okay. I think there is some issue with my camera. Let me retry once again.
I request all the participants to be patient for some time. Ma'am is trying to connect. Ma'am, Preeti ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my camera
Ma'am,
is not starting despite putting
no issue, ma'am. You
since a
can
request.
start without camera.
Ma'am, I log in through phone, so I will be there. So I will be using laptop to share my screen, and I am just logging through my phone so that I'm visible to all the participants.
Okay,
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 ma'am.
ma'am.
Just give me 2 minutes more. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible and visible.
Okay. Thank you.
Over to you, ma'am.
Yes. Let me just share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
No, ma'am.
It's not visible, ma'am.
No, ma'am. The screen is not visible. Ma'am, you are not audible. I think your mic is
Ma'am, am I audible and visible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible and visible.
So it was not working on laptop, so I have joined through phone.
Okay, you can start.
Okay. Good afternoon, all the participants. Thank you for being so patient. Uh, it was a technical glitch, but now that I have started, just give me a moment. Let me share my screen and then we'll start with the session. Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
All right. Good
Thank you,
afternoon,
ma'am.
everybody. I am Dr. Preeti Bala Mishra. By profession, I'm a counseling psychologist, and currently I'm teaching at Amity Institute of Behavioral and Allied Sciences, IBAS, Amity University, Lucknow. So today I'll be presenting the very relevant topic, which is about mental health. So I have chosen this topic because this topic is very close to my heart. So today I'll be discussing about nurturing mental health of young adults and law professionals in higher education. So before I proceed with the session, I would like to make it very clear. Hello, am I clearly audible and visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
you are clearly
Since I'm
audible.
sharing my screen, I'm not able to see that screen where all the participants are quite visible. So just let me know that you all are listening to me and you are there with me throughout the session. So before I proceed with the session, let us first conduct some activity just to see how prepared you are. So I will request few of you if you could just turn on your camera and you are visible. And please, at this point, I would like to request all of you to arrange one pen and a notebook or piece of paper because we will be conducting some activity. So it is not just a very theoretical lecture, rather I'll call it as a sensitization program wherein we will be taking up some activities just to understand and realize the significance of mental health. So it is more like of learning by doing. So are you ready, participants? Please unmute yourself and answer so that I can proceed further.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. All right. So the very first thing that we are going to do is just to see how tuned you are, how much you are in sync with the current moment, how mindful you are. So very honestly, without looking at your watch, without looking at your phone, without looking at your laptop, tell me what is the exact time. Currently, what is the exact time? Honest responses, please. Unmute yourself. Few of you, please unmute yourself.
2:45.
Okay, 2:45. Any other response may I have?
252.
2:52. That is so precise. I hope it was an honest response. No cheating. Any other response?
250, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am, 252.
2:52. Okay, okay. Good, very good. Next question. Without looking at your mobile camera screen, please tell me what is the level of battery in your phone?
100%.
100%. That's
Yeah.
nice.
0.8%.
Okay.
70%.
70. Fine, fine. How much?
78.
Hello. Yes. Some other responses, please. I'm waiting.
78%, madam.
78. Okay. Okay. Any other response? 60%. Fine. Fine. And once you give your response, please cross check that is your response correct or is it the wrong response. So even if you are close to it, it's fine. Okay. Next question. What color you are wearing? Which particular color you are wearing today? किस कलर के कपड़े पहने हुए हैं आपने? Orange, green, yellow. Okay. Great. Fine. Without looking at yourself. देखना नहीं है. You just have to respond. Just think about it and just respond.
Green, madam.
Okay. Violet and white, madam. All right. All right. So it seems that if all your answers are correct or you are very much close to it, you are actually present in the moment. We can say that you are mindful. So now that you are prepared, you are mindful, we can go ahead with the session. So are you all ready to start the session finally?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Just a
ma'am.
small request, Akanksha ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share my screen because the entire screen is not visible to me and I need to see the participants.
Ma'am, I would like to ask one thing.
Yes.
Hello, this is Pradeep.
Yes.
What is the significance of
Yes,
your
please.
third question? What is the significance of your third question? Because everybody is knowing what color he is wearing.
There is no significance. Just asking how much you are in tune with your
No,
own
because
self.
first and second question have some impact, but third question everybody
It
is aware what color they are wearing.
No,
how
that's
we
not
can
the
say
case.
how we can say that individual does not know what color he's wearing?
It happens
Is it
many a
possible?
times.
I think,
It
ma'am,
is not possible. Listen. I'll just start my session. Nothing is in absolute terms when we talk about mental health, when we talk about psychology, and when we talk about human behavior.
That is okay.
Right?
That is okay.
So
That
I
is
have
okay.
come across many people. You might be aware which date is today, which day is today, what time it is. They are not even aware whether they had their lunch or not. They had their lunch, they had their breakfast. They are not even aware what color they are wearing. They think they are wearing white, but maybe they are wearing some other color. So that happens. Okay.
Maybe, ma'am.
Yes, it happens. It is very much in practice. So nothing serious, but just to check how mindful we are, how much we are connected to the present moment. That is why this exercise was done. Okay, should we move ahead?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Fine. Can anybody share my screen? Is it possible at your end? Can we do that? Anybody, please respond. It is not possible from your end.
Ma'am, there is no need कि कोई आपकी स्क्रीन शेयर करे सब लोग अपनी स्क्रीन पे
Screen is visible, ma'am.
No, it is visible. But what I'm asking is it possible कि आप में से कोई मेरी स्क्रीन शेयर कर सके? ऐसा ऑप्शन है क्या?
I don't think.
Okay, if it is not there, fine, no issue. We'll go ahead with this. Right. So at this juncture, I would like to clarify that I will be. Is my screen visible? Because I've got this message that I have stopped sharing my screen. Some other person is sharing my screen.
I am trying to share your screen.
Please try and let me know if you are able to do it.
नहीं हो रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है.
Hello, ma'am. Very faint voice is coming. Is it possible?
Sorry, ma'am. No,
No problem. I'll retry. I'll retry. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, while I share my screen, am I visible to you?
No, ma'am. Only
Okay,
screen is showing.
okay, no issue. But my screen is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
In between, I'll be there.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So I have designed my session in two parts. In the very first part, I will be talking about awareness about mental health, that what it is. Many of us are still not very much aware, are still not very much familiar with the concept of mental health, despite of the fact that it is very, very important. It has profound impact in our lives on daily basis, but unfortunately, the awareness is not that great. So it will be an attempt to instill a sense of awareness among you all, wherein I'll be talking about the definition given by World Health Organization. I'll be talking about the key elements. I'll also talk about the indicators and the significance of mental health in our lives. So this will be more about addressing mental health in terms of what it is. Now comes the second part, which is the practical aspect, that how it deals with how. So in the second part, I'll be talking about those set of psychological skills through which we can enhance our mental health to improve our quality of life. So since this is FDP, you all belong to law domain, you all deal with students belonging to law. So here I will be taking up the session into two parts. First, I'll be talking about the set of core skills which faculty members require to deal with their students so that they create an impactful classroom environment and deal with their students in the most effective way. Second, I'll be talking about those skills which we can practice and we can enhance our mental health. So that could be done by both the teachers and the students. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So at the end of this session, it is expected that you all will achieve some level of understanding about mental health. Also, it is expected, and hopefully, you all will be able to incorporate those set of psychological skills. I will try to transfer those skills. That is why I have planned some activities so that you learn by doing, and you are able to apply those skills to your knowledge, to your day-to-day interactions, so as to understand that how it improves our mental health. So going on, let us first discuss what is mental health. So before I tell you what is mental health, I would like to know about your perceptions. So can anybody just unmute your mic and tell me what according to you is mental health? Excuse me. Anybody? There are no right and wrong responses. Please share your perspective.
When one can be able to control his feelings like anger or stress or other things, when we can balance those things, probably it will be mental health.
Yes, definitely. You are talking about the power that we all hold, the power of making a choice, not to get overwhelmed by this negative emotion of anger and to control it. Very nice. Any other person would like to contribute? Any one of you, please unmute your mic and tell me what is your perception about it. Excuse me. Anyone? Okay, let's continue. So according to World Health Organization, in 2001, it came up with a definition which says that mental health is nothing but a state of well-being. Please pay your attention to this definition. It is very, very important. State of well-being in which, excuse me, in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, That means the individual has some sort of intellect, some sort of cognition, some sort of reality, connect with reality, that the individual realizes what capabilities the individual has. Second part, can cope up with the normal stress of life. Now, normal stress means the daily hassles of life, where the individual not only the realizes that I have this ability, but also is capable of putting those abilities to use. That okay, if I have this ability, I have this ability of not getting angry even one person is provoking me. I know where to stop. This is what that I am very much able to put my skill to use, and I'm able to cope up with the normal stress of life. Next part, can work productively and fruitfully, where the person knows that there is a purpose, getting engaged into some meaningful activity. It is not that I am sitting idle and I'm doing things mindlessly, and at the end of the day, I regret that I had wasted my time. Throughout the day, I was engaged in some meaningful activity which actually had some meaning, which actually had some purpose. And the last is able to make a contribution to his or her community. So I am enlightened. Who am I? What potentials I have, and what changes I can make in the society. What contributions I can make society, what responsibility I hold, what is my okay. Moving ahead, it further says that mental health is an integral part of health. It says that there is no health without mental health. Many people are still aware about their physical health. सर्दी जुकाम बुखार होता है, कहीं पे उनको दर्द हो रहा है, कुछ तबीयत खराब है, immediately they rush to the doctor. They take the appointment, fix the appointment, and they rush to the doctor. They go through the entire checkup done. They get their all tests done, everything. But when it comes to their mental health, suppose चिड़चिड़ापन लग रहा है, बहुत दिनों से थकान लग रही है, कुछ अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, बहुत रोने का मन कर रहा है, negative thoughts आ रहे हैं. The person is not able to deal with such negative emotional state, having constant anxiety, having constant change of negative thoughts, poor self-esteem, so many other mental and or psychological symptoms. But the person hardly pays attention to it. कि okay, fine, ये तो सब चलता रहता है. So WHO highlights this aspect that there is no health without mental health. It is very much fundamental to our health. It is an integral part of health. And it is more than absence of mental illness. Suppose a person has no issue. Try to understand in the perspective of physical health. If somebody has not cancer, somebody has no AIDS, somebody has not any chronic illness or any other chronic ailment, can we say that the person is healthy? Can we say that? Participants,
No.
please respond. Yes or no? If the
No.
person has no chronic illness, can we say that the person is physically healthy, the body is fine, fit? No, we cannot say that. Even if the person is not having any chronic illness, the person may lack on certain parameters of physically fit or fitness. Likewise, mental health is not just absence of mental illness. So even if there are slight symptoms, we can say that the mental health is being hampered. The last very important characteristic, that mental health is intimately connected with physical health and behavior. That means if our physical health gets disturbed, it leads to disturbance in our mental health and vice versa. Let me give you one example. If you fall sick for few days, ज़्यादा दूर नहीं जाएंगे, just go back little early. COVID-19 time, Corona time. So we had COVID-19. Now, this was a physical ailment, isn't it? But it had greater mental impact. So when we suffer physically, it has mental impact, and vice versa. When we have some mental issue, we suffer at physical level. अगर आपका मन नहीं लग रहा है, बहुत चिड़चिड़ापन लग रहा है, बहुत नेगेटिव थॉट्स आ रहे हैं, so you will have a poor sleep. Your appetite will definitely going to suffer. Some may get their stomach disturbed. बहुत सारे लोगों को constipation का issue होता है कि नहीं होता है? If you are in stress, your body will respond. Headache होने लगता है कि नहीं होता है?
Ma'am, can I ask one question, if you don't mind?
Can you just note down all your queries? We'll be taking up the
Okay.
queries at the end of the
Okay.
session. Is that fine?
Okay.
Okay, all right. Now, a picture is visible to you. Can you all see that picture? Is it visible to you clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, based upon your own subjective perspective, your own individual perception, please elaborate what you can see in this picture. What do you think is the theme, overall theme of this picture? क्या हो रहा है इस picture में? What is being given? What this picture tries to demonstrate? What is the message given in this picture? And there are no right and wrong responses, let me tell you, throughout the session. So whatever response you think of, please intimate. Yes.
Rose. Ma'am, Rose is surviving alone there.
Rose is surviving. Let me just note down your responses. Rose is surviving alone. 5. Very nice.
Life in a
One
desert.
by one, please.
Ma'am, a
Yes.
flower is blooming in a very deserted situation.
Correct. Correct.
Life in a desert.
Life in a desert. Okay, you have given a caption. All right. Yes. Any other response? So far, 3 responses we have received. Any other person would like to add? I encourage you all to please be more and more interactive, because that is the beauty of such sessions.
Ma'am, as per my perception,
Yes.
somebody is giving a signal with the help of a flower to call somebody.
Somebody is giving a signal through flower
To call somebody.
to call somebody. Okay. ठीक है.
And as per me, I think it's a barren land, but there's a hope by looking at that flower.
Very nice. Hope. Okay. Anybody else would like to add? Fine. So you see, like you people very rightly mentioned that the land is barren actually. Hardly there is any sign of some water supply. Yes, we can assume that there is some groundwater which is providing nourishment to this very, very faint plant, and the plant, despite having the scarcity of water, despite having limited resources, despite having adversity all around, despite having no further sign of blooming, the plant chooses to flourish. You can see that there is a flower. So can we all agree on the fact that this shows the spirit of flower? This shows the growth oriented approach. If you all see, you have talked about blooming, you have talked about surviving alone, you have talked about some signal the one person is giving to call somebody. You have talked about hope. So don't you see that there is a very clear growth oriented approach and a very fighting spirit and optimism and hope and resilience is very much clear in this picture? Can we all agree on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So taking this perspective into consideration at this point, it is very much significant to discuss the mental health indicators. You know, we are like this flower only. We have adversity all around, sometimes within, sometimes outside us. Right? Not every time we are flooded with resources. We may have some very limited resources. We have some forces which just try their best to dampen our spirit so that we can all give up. But still, we all are committed to that purpose. We do not give up. We still see high, we rise high, and we bloom like this flower. So now the question is that at which point we decide that, okay, I am able to fight, I am not able to give up, and what is the criteria, what is the parameter that beyond when we face some mental health issues, that this is the point, I cannot go beyond that. What are the indicators of poor, poor mental health, or our mental health is being suffered? So there are four indicators clearly: physical aspect of our life, psychological aspect, emotional aspect, and social aspect. Now, try to understand. As long as our physical aspect, that means our body is functioning well, we are able to take a proper sleep, adequate sleep, our mental health is fine. As long as we are having rational thoughts, we are getting indulged in some meaningful conversations, our intellect is very much reality connected, our orientation is very much reality connected, it is very much realistic in nature, our mental health is fine. Emotionally we are stable, emotionally we know that we don't have to be overwhelmed. हमें पता है कि कहाँ पर हमें जॉय एक्सपीरियंस करना है और कहाँ पर हमें एक होता है मीनिंगफुल जॉय, जब सच में कोई खुशी की बात है और आप वहां पर खुश हो रहे हैं, और एक होता है मीनिंगलेस जॉय. मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज जिनमें होते हैं, देयर इज वन मेंटल हेल्थ इशू, मेंटल डिसऑर्डर, मेनिया, where the person experiences joy but is elated. वो जॉय के बहुत बियॉन्ड, वो एक नॉर्मल रेंज के बहुत बियॉन्ड, वो हमेशा खुश है, हमेशा हम नहीं खुश हो सकते, जैसे कि हम हमेशा दुखी नहीं हो सकते. All right, so emotionally how much connected we are, emotionally how much balanced we are, and social, as long as our social life is good, our mental health is good. तो जिस पॉइंट पे हमें लगे कि अरे हमें तो भूख नहीं लग रही है बहुत दिन से, सपोज फिजिकल की बात करें, और वी आर नॉट एबल टू गेट अ गुड साउंड स्लीप, आई हैव टू स्ट्रगल to fall asleep. My quality of sleep is getting lower day by day. I am constantly having negative thoughts. In terms of psychological aspects, I am getting negative thoughts. I am getting anxiety for no reason. Maybe I'm very much worrying about past, or maybe I'm very much worrying about my future. I'm anticipating a lot. In terms of emotional, I am not able to have a proper control over my emotions. And when it comes to social, I am not able to enjoy my social relationships. Maybe I am avoiding them. I don't want to meet anybody. मेरी social life जो है वो अब धीरे धीरे disturb हो रही है. Now, as soon as we realize this is happening at any of these four levels, be it physical, be it psychological, be it emotional, be it social, this is actually an alarming situation. And this immediately calls for urgent intervention. Is that clear? Intervention is very much required. कि अब mental health poor हो रही है, now I have to get indulge in those skills so that I can take care of my mental health. Understood, all of you? What are the indicators? कब हमें पता चलता है कि हमारी mental health बिगड़ रही है? सबको clear हुआ?
Yes.
Okay. Now, why we need to talk about mental health? What significance it creates in our life? So mental health is very, very important because it profoundly influences every aspect of our lives. It empowers us to navigate challenges that we face every day, or the major setbacks of life. Suppose it help us to deal with any loss, trauma, any major setback of life. It also equip us to have better coping abilities. So if my mental health is poor, I may get indulged in some unhealthy strategy to deal with stress. But if my mental health is sound, I will only look for those effective and healthy strategy. Next, when we have good mental health, our relationships get improved. We have more meaningful, deep, satisfying relationships. We enjoy our relationships. Our relationships have those boundaries, clear cut boundaries. They are not infused, they are not very rigid, but they are very much joyful. It also improves our self competencies. For example, when I have good mental health, I will think good about my own self. I will have higher self esteem. I will have good self image in my own eyes, and I will be having self confidence. But on the other hand, suppose my mental health is poor, maybe I will be filled with self doubts all the time. Maybe I will curse my own self for all my past failures. मुझे खुद पे डाउट होगा कि क्या मैं कोई गोल अचीव कर सकती हूँ या नहीं. मुझे अपनी कमियां ज्यादा दिखेंगी, खूबियां नहीं दिखेंगी. The very next factor is increased productivity. When we have good mental health, we are productive. Whether we perform better at our workplace, whether we are more alert, we are much more tuned, we are much more available to people around us, or we do something for our own sake, or maybe for our personal life, but we do something which is productive in nature, which is fruitful in nature. It's not that we do not do anything, or we do things which has absolutely no meaning. And I know that this particular thing has no meaning, but maybe I don't have that much of confidence, or maybe I'm very much confused what to do, what not to do, or maybe I don't have much clarity about my goals. So sound mental health also gives you the clarity about goal, and it helps us to work towards achieving our goal and enhances our self-esteem. As a result, we have improved well-being. Overall, you see, on the scale of life satisfaction, we all can measure that to what extent we all are satisfied with our life. There is a scale. So at this point, if a person who has adequate mental health will always report to have higher life satisfaction in comparison to the person who is low with regard to mental health. तो अगर किसी का मूड बहुत खराब होगा, कोई बहुत परेशान होगा, तो आप मुझे बताएं, क्या वो अपनी लाइफ को उस टाइम एक रिवॉर्डिंग नजरिए से देखेगा या अपनी लाइफ की परेशानियां डिस्कस करेगा? ये हमारे साथ क्या होता है? जब हम खुश होते हैं तब हम क्या लाइफ को एक अलग तरीके से देखते हैं, और जब हम बहुत परेशान, बहुत उलझे हुए दिमाग में होते हैं, तब हम अपनी लाइफ को किस नजरिए से देखते हैं? इफ यू कुड जस्ट रिस्पॉन्ड, एनी वन ऑफ यू, अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ एंड आंसर.
Yes, ma'am, you are correct. When we find stronger mentally, then we also see life as it is very complicated and can't find a solution for it.
Okay. All right. So with this, we have discussed the indicators and significance. Now we are coming to the heart of this session, which is the enhancement strategies. I hope the screen is clearly visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So at this point, first, I will discuss those set of psychological skills which teachers actually need, require, or need to acquire so that they respond better in terms of the need of the students. Now, why it is important? You all know that India is a young country. 40% of our population is comprised of the young population. And this is a very potential population. These are the future of our nation, future of any country. So when we invest in them, we have greater return. Unfortunately, because of poor mental health, because of so much unrealistic expectations, constant comparisons, performance pressure, relationship issues, emotional instability, there are a lot many areas which are of great concern. The youth, particularly the student, and the student in higher education, sometimes are not able to cope up with the stresses of life, and they end up breaking down. They either develop mental pathology, or it is very painful, heart wrenching to see the increased cases of suicides every now and then. Every 10th September, we celebrate Suicide Prevention Day to spread awareness. In spite of that, you see that these cases, these news are there in newspaper every now and then. And the stats is not very encouraging. आंकड़े बहुत खराब हैं. हर 2 मिनट में 3 मिनट में एक यूथ सुसाइड कर रहा है. बहुत सारे रीजंस हैं, जिन रीजंस की हमने अभी बात करी. Now, as a teacher, we carry greater responsibility of shaping young minds. So you are in direct contact with them. We are not just completing the syllabus, we are not just making them ready for examination, but we are making them ready for this life. That is the whole purpose of education, if you analyze. Do you all agree on this or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So you see, as a teacher, we all understand, we all realize the importance of life skills. And that is the reason that our interaction is not just limited within the classroom, within the four walls of classroom, but we are always there to hold hand of our students. That is the reason when any student reaches us, approaches us with a problem, if possible, we provide the solution of the problem. Okay? Because we belong to the most noble profession. We are teachers. We have this privilege to shape this young mind, and it is so rewarding to see them to shaping our future generation. So that is why we carry greater responsibility on our shoulders. That is why our shoulders are heavier than any other profession, that we can actually do something. We are in direct contact with this potential population, and they will listen to us. That impact we have over them. So that is why at this point, we will discuss some enhancement strategies which teachers can apply while interacting with their students every time they see, they realize, they identify, they find out, or any student approaches to you, comes across to you with a problem. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? Am I visible?
Yeah,
Oh,
you are
sorry, am I
audible.
audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So the very first strategy is empathy. If you all can take a screenshot. I would like to turn on my camera and directly interact with you. So my screen will not be visible to you for that brief moment. So can you all just take a screenshot, and I may turn off my screen and turn on my camera now. Participants, could you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So should I stop sharing my screen?
Yes, ma'am. You can turn on your camera.
Okay, please take a screenshot. Please take a screenshot of this enhancement strategies. And I am here. Yes, I hope I am visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So the very first skill is empathy. Now, what is empathy? Let me give you the meaning, and then we'll try to discuss this in detail. Empathy is getting into someone else's shoes and then try to realize his or her perspective, his or her phenomenological world. Now, phenomenology, this is a very heavy term in psychology. Phenomenology is like the way I perceive this world. In easy words, मेरा इस दुनिया को देखने का नजरिया आपके नजरिए से बिल्कुल फर्क होगा, बिल्कुल अलग होगा, है ना? The lens I use to perceive this entire world will be very much unique and will be very much different to you. So my likes, my dislikes, my whole personality, my thought processes, the way I interact with my environment, that will be very much different from you, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. Now, at this point, I would like to ask one question. Listen to it very carefully and then answer me. Suppose I ask you to wear someone else's shoes in real life. किसी और के जूते मैं अगर आपसे पहनने के लिए कहूँ, आपको किसी और के जूते पहनने हैं, तो सबसे पहले आप क्या करेंगे?
Remove our own shoes. Remove our own shoes or sandals, whatever we are wearing.
Okay.
First
I'll
we'll
try
see.
to find.
I'll put the number of shoes.
I could not hear. Could you please repeat?
First, we should see whether the size of the shoe is same or not.
Okay. We will remove. We will see the size of the next person. Okay. Yes. Who is speaking? Please go ahead.
Comfy.
We will check size, ma'am.
Okay. ठीक है. What else?
Comfortable or not.
ठीक है. Okay. Anyone else? Fine. So हम देखेंगे कि whether these shoes are comfortable or not, whether my size matches with the next person or not, whether I'm able to, fit into those shoes or not, and I will remove my shoes. These 4 responses so far we have received. इसका सही जवाब है सबसे पहले हम अपने जूते उतारेंगे. You cannot get into someone else's shoes while carrying your own. Now try to understand this perspective into counseling. When the client comes to you or when the student comes to you, first you remove your own shoes of having your own individuality and your own personality, your own set of thoughts, your own likes, dislikes, the way you have interacted with life. We have our own unique way of looking at life and dealing with it. You cannot compare your life journey to the next person because the set of experiences you have it in your life is very much different. Maybe you have had a very smooth life, or maybe you have had seen so many struggles, since childhood, but maybe the next person has always been into a comfort zone and is nurtured in a very guarded environment. उसने कभी कोई struggle देखा ही नहीं. So we all are different, we all are unique in our own way. So when the client reaches to you with a particular problem, with a particular issue, it is very much important to remove your hat. It is very much important to remove your shoes. That means shedding off your own perspective. So if the person says that I lost my very dear one, it's been 10 years and still it is very much painful to me, I still get those haunting dreams, I still feel my life is not normal, and I still feel that my life is stuck up. You cannot say that, how is that possible? It's been 10 years, now you should move on. Maybe it is not a big deal for you, but maybe it is a very, very painful trauma for that other person, because you never know how much value the person held in this person's life, and the person is still struggling to get into the normal zone of life. I hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to convey. Okay, so the other person comes with a specific set of problem or with a particular problem. For you it is not a problem. You cannot say that it is not a problem. It's not a problem for you, it's a very big problem for the other person. So develop that sense of empathy. Empathy का मतलब होता है सह अनुभूति. सामने वाला जैसे महसूस कर रहा है, मैं भी वैसे महसूस करूं. Understood? The very next set of skill is the solar model, which is very much used in counseling. So when the person approaches you, suppose you see that there is a very good student. I'm not talking in terms of academics, that the student is very much good in academics, but yes, you see that the student has greater level of interest in the subject, is very sincere, responsible, good in academics, everything is fine. But for past few days, you see there are certain behavioral changes which you identify. The person is not that concentrated, the focus is shifted to somewhere else, the person seems to be worried, anxious, and maybe missing out on classes daily. I mean, the real person, the person you knew, the student you knew, is missing. And one day the person appears to you, approaches to you, reaches to you to seek some help. Now, this model of counseling says that as soon as we come in contact with the other person, we have to practice this square model. Now, this is the acronym, solar model. This is the acronym where S stands for sitting square. So when you sit, you do not sit like this, leaning backward, tilted, but you sit with open shoulders. You face the person directly, so that you create a square. So sitting square, this shows that you are interested to listen to that person. You are interested for the communication. So always sit square. O stands for open body language. Now, closed body language, like crossing our fingers, shrinking our shoulders, closing our legs, these are closed body language. It simply suggests this message that I am not interested to talk to you. I am not available. I am not in a mood to talk to you. So when you interact with the person, we have to practice open body language. So you see, I am talking and I am using my hands. It's an open body language because I'm very much interested to talk to you. And so are you. You are using the same body language. So if I would be doing this or doing this, that means somewhere the level of interest is missing. The participation is missing from my end, consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously, but I don't want to interact. Okay. So open body language shows that you welcome the conversation. Okay. Next is L. L means lean forward. So you must have noticed that when you chit chat with the person, when you interact with the person, at some point of conversation, communication, you lean forward to listen more about it. Leaning forward मतलब आगे की तरफ झुक जाना, उस इंसान की बात और ध्यान से सुनना. It simply shows that you want to take this communication to the next level. You are very much into it. You are listening. So leaning forward is a very good sign. It's a great sign that yes, I am emotionally available. Next is E, eye contact. It is very, very important. You must have felt at any point of your life that you are talking to the person is talking, making noises, bolo, sun rahe hain, but the person is missing onto the eye contact. And you immediately know that this person is not listening to me, or maybe the person is lying to me, or maybe the person is just, wanting that I should just terminate the discussion further. I don't have to talk. So maintaining eye contact, it is very, very important in our relationship, particularly in the relation, now that we are discussing in the domain of teacher and student relationship, it is very, very important, even in other relationships as well. So maintain eye contact. Here, two things are very important. Now, while in the attempt of making an eye contact, do not stare at the person. Ghurna nahi hai. Do not eye contact to the extent that you make the person uncomfortable. Rather, you have to maintain a positive eye contact. Next is R, which stands for relaxed body language. So whenever you interact with your client or student, your body language should not only be open in terms of gestures, in terms of verbal and non-verbal communication, but should also look relaxed. It should not look like that you are rushing. आप बहुत जल्दी में हैं या आप खुद nervous हैं. You should seem relaxed, calm, and composed. I hope till this point everything is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Going on to the next point, very, very important point, active listening. Okay. There is a very key difference between hearing and listening, especially hearing and active listening. How many of you have heard this term active listening?
Yes, ma'am.
You have heard? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Active listening.
Okay.
Active listener and passive listener. There are both
Right.
these two terms.
So, can you elaborate on this little bit?
Active listening, as I know, it means you are considering or even positioned to consider the problem of the party to whom you are counseling as your own problem, and you are involved yourself actively in the problem of the party which has come to you for counseling.
Okay. Okay. Fine. The involvement element is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Thank you for your response. Now, what is active listening and what is hearing?
Yeah.
You say good afternoon, any one of you. Let me just show you. Please greet me, any one of you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, what did I do? Can anybody tell me what did I just do? You said welcome, and what did I do?
You accepted the greeting.
Yes, verbally I accepted.
Yeah.
What were my non-verbal gestures?
Non-verbal gesture means through a smile, through eye contact, through body language.
I immediately broke the eye contact. The moment you said welcome, ma'am, मैंने कहा and I immediately broke the eye contact. I got busy in my own work, though I was listening to you. This is called hearing. Hearing मतलब कान से सुनना, simple. So many a times you must have experienced here. I would like to take a pause and I would like you all to get indulged in this activity where you have to recall Any instance of your own life where you felt unheard, where you were busy with the communication but you were not able to listen very meaningful, very important conversation according to you? Has it ever happened to you?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Right. Now, when the person says you go on, I'm listening to you, and the person is maybe busy on mobile phone or maybe doing something else, the person is practicing hearing, just a sensational activity. The sensation, the hearing sensation, not appreciated. In counseling, we practice active listening. Now, what is active listening? Any one of you, please say
I would,
something to me.
I would just like to make a slight difference between hearing and active listening.
Hmm.
While you use the word hearing, there for giving a response to a say question or someone's greetings, you are actually not applying your mind. You are not involving yourself. And while it comes to active listening, after listening the problem or after listening the question, and to make answer to that question, the one is required to involve oneself and required uh, uh, to apply his or her own mind to answer the question. This is
Yes.
the difference between
Yes,
this
thank you.
listening and
I
hearing.
was coming on to that. Thank you so
So
much.
thank you.
So, any one of you say something to me?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. I
Thank
hope
you,
you are
ma'am.
doing well. Okay,
Yes.
what did I do? What did I just do? We exchanged greetings.
Yeah.
You said good evening.
You
I
said good evening.
immediately responded to you
Yeah. Yeah.
without breaking that eye contact,
Contact.
right? Eye
Yeah.
contact was there, even if it is online. I was verbally, non verbally engaged in this conversation.
Yeah.
So, active listening involves the verbal communication. We
Yeah.
make sounds.
Yeah.
We also paraphrase the communication. Suppose the person is saying, "Aaj office mein ye hua, this." You listen to the entire conversation and then you summarize it. You paraphrase. अच्छा, फिर उसने ऐसा किया, ऐसा किया, ऐसा किया. This happens in active
तो
listening.
उसका देखा
You
मीटर का
also
पुराना
get
डेट का
involved at the level of
है
non-verbal communication. You see, you give a head nod. आप ऐसे ऐसे सर हिलाते हैं. Your hand gestures, your shoulders, you maintain eye contact, you practice silence in between. So not just your verbal communication but also your non-verbal communication is getting indulged while practicing active listening. You are also summarizing, you are also paraphrasing, and to some extent we all use empathy as well when we actively listen. So it is more than hearing. So whenever a student approaches to us, comes up with a problem, we don't have to just hear the student despite having lot of work. We all know that, even being a faculty, we are overloaded with lot of work. But your 2 minute or maybe just a minute of active listening can make a great impact in the life of the student, right? The
Yeah.
next is acceptance and no comparison. Yes, it is very, very important. Can we all expect that suppose there are 40 or 30 or 50 students in the class, they all will share the same intellect, they all will share the same level of interest for that particular subject, they all will perform in the same way, and they all will score in a similar way?
No,
Do we
never.
all expect this?
Never.
Never.
This is not reasonable and legitimate
Yes,
expectation.
we know that it is not at all practical.
Yeah.
However, despite knowing the fact, we compare in terms of marks, in terms of, academic input or some other parameter. So here, what are we doing? Maybe we are putting some extra pressure onto that student, and maybe The student is already going through a lot of pressure, maybe from home, maybe many things are happening in the environment, in the immediate environment of the student. You never know. So we have to accept the potential of the student. So we know which student is sincere. We know that this particular student will score this much, this student will score this much, and accordingly we put effort, we encourage, at least we give push rather than dampening the spirit of the student that तुमसे तो नहीं हो पाएगा. Okay, so comparison gives best in products and worst in human beings. Again, because we all are born with our own innate capacities, as we grow older in our life, based upon our interactions with life and exposure we get, we instill certain set of skills. So it is very, very unreasonable to expect all students to behave in a similar way. Okay, so accept the flaws and work accordingly, correct them accordingly, right? So we have to celebrate their being rather than doing. Being is what? When we are born, when a baby is born, you see family members are elated, overwhelmed, so happy, delighted, thrilled. What achievement baby has done? A newborn baby. Didi, I can see you are raising hand. If you have any query, can you just note it down? We'll take up all the queries at the end of the session.
Actually,
All
I
right.
just wanted to know regarding that
Yes.
acceptance part.
Okay. Yes. So when a baby is born, you see a celebration is being done. Why? Because we are celebrating the existence of the baby. The baby has yet not achieved anything, yet not performed anything. Just a newborn baby. In the same way, we have to celebrate each other existence in real life rather than putting labeling on doing. You have done this, you have not done this. For being, at least minimum respect, minimum acceptance, we all deserve. That we need to give.
And
And the last one.
here I have a slight different perspective. What you were saying, at the birth of baby, the baby has not achieved anything, right? But
Can you just note down all your observations?
Okay.
Because if I'll start taking
Because
all the
we
queries in
actually
between.
we missed the query.
No, you
Okay,
just
ma'am.
note
No
down.
issue.
We will be
No
taking
issue.
up. We'll
No
be
issue.
taking up. Okay. Yes. The next one is following ethics. Very, very important. Now, when we talk about ethics, the ethical considerations as teacher we preach about, we have to practice them in our real life too. At this point, I will discuss one case study with you, and we'll try to understand that why ethics are so important. So in one university, there was this student, undergraduate student, who had a different sexual preference. Of course, because of certain limitations, certain hesitations, inhibitions, the student did not open up to his friends as well as to his teachers. There was this event in the city, and the student participated in that and just gave a clue about his sexual preference. Now, coming to know about this, one of the teacher, he or she called the student and asked, or I would simply say interrogate this particular student, asking questions, making the student uncomfortable in front of few teachers and few of his friends. Now, this came as a shock to this student. The student is shocked. The kind of comments received from the teacher, not at all encouraging, not at all accepting, goes back to home, and the very next day commits suicide. This is the real incident I'm sharing. Why? Because confidentiality was not maintained. And the way it was told, it was like a gossip was being spread, a rumor was being spread. Okay, so confidentiality is very, very important. So if a student comes up with his or her personal problem or any academic issue, please make sure that we all maintain minimum level of confidentiality. Let me give you another perspective to it. I'm into counseling. It's been 10, 11 years. Suppose a case comes to me and I try some therapies for this particular client. Suppose therapy 1 apply करी इस client के साथ, not working out. Therapy 2 apply करी, not getting those desired results. In that case, what would I do? I would refer to some senior or to some skilled mental health professional without disclosing the basic identity of this person. I will simply ask, I have got this case, this is the issue, this is the therapeutic intervention I've been trying, but nothing working out. What do you suggest? Do you understand what I'm trying to convey? I have to maintain confidentiality. No way I am going to disclose the name, identity, address of this person. Understood? Confidentiality is very, very important. Now, the next and very important skill, very much particular, very much relevant, particularly in today's era, is to have an openness for the term therapy. It's not a taboo. We all have just discussed and highlighted the significance of mental health. So just like our physical health gets disturbed, we immediately contact a doctor, a physician. Likewise, when there is some issue with our mental health, what we have to do? We have to approach a mental health professional, trained counseling psychologist or counselor or psychiatrist, having credentials. My friend is my therapist, nahi chalega. Somebody who has been trained in this field, who has enough exposure, experience of handling cases, and has credentials, has degree, proper training. I hope my point is clear.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, very quickly, going on to the most relevant thing, which is about the milestones of mental health. What specific strategies, techniques, coping skills we all can apply in our day-to-day life, which will definitely going to contribute to our mental health to a great extent. We are able to enjoy our mental health. So I am going to share my screen. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So the very first milestone is letting things go. Okay. You all are having a pen right now with you. पेन है सबके पास में? Please respond. You're not audible to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Audible, ma'am.
Okay, just hold the pen straight in your hand. Just like we take a pledge, straight out your entire hand, your arms, everything straight. Hold the pen for at least 2 minutes. Focus on the feeling, the physiological feelings that you are having. How does it feel? Try to hold the pen as long as possible, but at any point of time, if you feel like too much of pain or any discomfort, let me know immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
Not able to hold the pen any further?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not able
Okay.
to.
Okay. Any other person has to say anything? You are able to hold the pen for long? Good. Okay, stop it. Since we are running short of time, so I will not take too much of time because I have to just sum up. So otherwise, we would have taken much time. But let us try to understand why this activity. So just two or three of you, please unmute your mic and tell me your experience about it. How does it feel? Was it comfortable, uncomfortable, painful?
It was comfortable to me, and it was just I was feeling that I should write something.
Okay.
Why to holding a pen unnecessary?
Okay.
I
Fine.
was not feeling good. I was feeling that I'm doing a task.
Okay. Okay. And the task is quite painful?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how much pain you would realize if I ask you to hold this pen for half an hour or simply for 15 minutes? Think about it.
I
It would be
will
very,
not
very
feel good.
painful.
I will be, yes, sir. I'll feel frustrated doing
Exactly.
that.
That why this activity? Why causing so much of pain? So what is happening? You see, we try to hold things. We try to hold that stress. Something has happened and we still hold that thing. We have to let things go. The more you hold it, the more it will cause pain and the more it will cause discomfort and damage to you. Right? So we have to move on, let things go. Next, we have to practice is create happiness. So happiness is a very strong positive emotion, and this is our ultimate goal of life, if you see. So happiness is not something which is absolute, or which anything we do and it is sure short, it is guaranteed that happiness will be achieved, happiness will be experienced. We have to create happiness. So do things that bring joy, pleasure, meaning to you. Take that ownership of your own mental state and deliberately take care of it. You can get indulged in any hobby or simply listen to music. You can simply do anything that brings a sense of happiness to you. Next is building connection with self. Yes. In the chaos, somewhere we all forget our own self and we just try to, settle. So it is very, very important to have a connection with your own self before you connect with others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So always try to connect with your own self every day. Have some me time. Give some time to yourself. Prioritize self. Pat your back, pamper yourself, do things which make you happy. Now, once you are happy, you will be definitely able to deliver in your relationships. So, what efforts you put in to nurture your relationships? You have to nurture, you have to take care of relationship, because relationships are oxygen of our life. These deep, meaningful, loving relationships we share with others actually fulfill our lives. So what we have to do, we have to simply do nothing but to spend some time with them, value them, respect them. So just missing a friend, call your friend, fix a meeting, spend some time with your parents, grandparents, children, spouse. Do whatever it takes to save your relationship, because relationships are mandatory for our life. Also, at this point, I would like to highlight the fact that sharing is very, very important. In many cases, as counseling psychologist, I experience, or you go through the news, that we bottle net our emotions. especially negative thoughts and negative feelings. We do not share with others. What happens after a certain point of time? It just gets fixed, and we are not able to release it. We are not able to relieve it. Sharing helps you to ventilate those negative feelings and thoughts, and it helps you to rejuvenate. So जिंदगी में कोई हो जिससे हम शेयर कर सकें. As a teacher, always allow that safe space to you where your students can come and share their issues, so that you suggest a problem to them. Next is having a good control over thoughts. Now, what is happening? We are living in this automobile zone that, we are sitting here, but mentally we are not present. What is happening? If we are either venturing into past, which is a place of reference, but we make it a place of residence, or we venture into future, which is still unpredictable, which is still yet to happen, which is still not happen, yet to happen. Very few of us actually live in the present moment. So what we have to do, we have to enjoy the present moment. How is that possible? Disconnect yourself from the past. Suppose you have gone for an interview, पिछले interviews में selection नहीं हुआ है. Now the feeling कि पिछले interview से selection नहीं हुआ, I could not perform well, will give you that anxiety and will make you even more nervous. The fact that future, if you think about future, that I really need this job, if I get this job, this will happen, if I don't get this job, this will happen. The questions of what if, कि नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा, it will again give you anxiety. But the fact that the moment when you decide कि चलो interview देते हैं, let's see, जो होगा देखा जाएगा, is the moment where you do not experience the level of nervousness, but you just give it a try and you are happy because you are living the present moment. Next is very important, mindfulness. Mindfulness is what? It is deliberate attempt of here and now. Now tell me, आप जहां बैठे हैं, आपके जस्ट पीछे की दीवार का कलर क्या है?
White.
Okay.
White.
Okay, that
White.
means you are aware of your environment. Many of us are still not aware. We had our lunch, we had our breakfast, we talk to the person, but we don't realize that what conversation we are indulged in, what is happening, because mentally we are not present in that moment. Mindlessly we are living the life. So we have to practice mindfulness. So one activity we can do is that just hold your mobile phone and try to see how heavy it is or how light it is. Is it warm, cold? What is it? Very quickly do it. Just hold your mobile phone and tell me what all you experience. Anyone? Anyone?
Yes, ma'am, it is heavy and it has become warm also.
Okay. Right. So what is happening? You are paying attention to your mobile phone in the present moment, but when you were attending this session, you were not aware how does it feel, right? Next, and very important, is practicing gratitude. This is very important for all of us to be grateful for what we have, not crying for what we don't have. So to practice gratitude, what we can do every day, we can think of the things we can be grateful for. We can count our blessings. Okay, we have 10 reasons to cry. This is not working out, this is not happening, but we have 100 more reasons to smile and to be grateful. That I'm grateful for this life, I'm grateful that I'm saved, I'm grateful for having a family, I'm grateful for having my lunch, I'm grateful to so many things. And this list can go endless as you start practicing this. Going on to the next, practicing forgiveness. At some point of time, we all commit mistakes deliberately, knowingly, unknowingly. It's okay. We all are human beings. It's okay to commit mistakes, but what is not okay, to get hold on it and not forgiving our own self and others. So it is very, very important to forgive others, because not the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. So remove that emotional baggage that you have been carrying for so long and just relieve that pain. Now, last but not least, the power of choice. Whatever happens in your life, whatever circumstances you go through, one thing remains with you, and that is your power of making a choice. Whatever the situation is, pleasant, unpleasant, good, not good,
Sorry,
favorable,
ma'am. Sorry to
unfavorable.
interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
Preeti, ma'am.
Ma'am, just
Sorry
a
to
minute.
interrupt you, but
I'm just
yes.
concluding. Just give me a moment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
We can always make choice of responding. So if I have to sum up, you see, the power actually lies in our own hand. Okay. So with the help of these psychological skills, what we can do, we can achieve greater mental health. With this, I thank all of you. You have been great audience. I am grateful for you. You all can contact me on my email ID and my LinkedIn ID. And with this, we have reached to the end of this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this fruitful session. In spite of all the technical glitches, session is very interesting. I'm sure not only me, but other participants has also learned much more about the mental health. In today's era, when the mental health of many students are disturbed or not in a good condition, this topic is very important. The time which we had is very less.
Yes.
This topic is more expanded. So thank you so much, ma'am. If any participant is having any question,
Thank you
they
so
can
much,
ask.
ma'am. Yes, yes. Please go ahead with your queries.
Ma'am, it was really nice an interaction with you, and it was really an informative session. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you. Thank you so much.
I really want to have further conversations with you. It would be really nice if you will provide your contact number or whatever through which we can
Okay.
connect to you.
Okay. Please, write me an email or connect me on LinkedIn. Then we'll have further conversations. Okay.
Okay. Please provide
Thank
your
you so
email
much.
ID
Yes, I will
to the
share the
chat
PPT with the
box.
organizers. Yes, or I will write in the chat box.
Yeah. I had a few queries, but I think right now we do not have much time to like
No issue. We can connect
take
later
it
on.
further.
We can
Yeah,
connect
yeah.
later on. No issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.